Hello, mighty companions. I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. And we're going to continue to talk about how to stop attacking the plan for our happiness and our success and our love and our experience. A Course in Miracles, how holding grievances is an attack on the plan for your own happiness, for your own joy, for your own prosperity and your own abundance. So is there anyone in your life that you hold any kind of grievance with? And the Course in Miracles says a good way to tell who that person is the people you don't like. It's a real simple way to tap into, according to the Course. Well, who is it you don't particularly like? And who you particularly feel separate from. And if you're fortunate enough to say there's nobody I feel that way about, great. But the vast majority of people probably have someone that they know that they want to see differently and that they need to see differently. And when they're in the presence of that person or the thought of that person doesn't necessarily thrill them in some way. So we're going to talk about how holding that grievance is actually an attack on the plan that the divine has for your happiness. And one thing about the Course in Miracles is that the Course in Miracles has its own way of doing everything. So the approach that it takes is usually different from the approach that most of us are used to taking or are willing to take. And that's what turns me on about it, is the fact that it puts the focus on things in ways that it would never occur to me to do it. So the more I think opposite to how the world teaches me to think, the more I feel like I'm headed in the right direction. Because the Course literally says that the truth is the opposite of everything the world believes. And so that gives me hope. Because I think that most of us have tried the way that the world believes, which the Course reduces to one sentence. If this were different, I would be saved. If this were different, I'd be happy. Do you know that's how the Course in Miracles says? That's the main idea that a person has to learn how to let go of if they're ever going to have any inner peace. It's that belief that if someone else spoke or acted differently, if some external situation were different, if some external event changed, then I would be happy. That's the core idea that the Course is trying to uproot, that we've been conditioned, many of us, to believe from the time we entered the planet. And also the other thing is that the Course in Miracles talks to us as if we actually are spirit, as we actually are spiritual beings, which I think is a total turn on for me. The fact that it talks to me as if I'm more than a body, that I'm more than just a human being that believes I was born here, going to live a certain number of years, and then pass away. The Course in Miracles adamantly wants us to understand that that's not the truth. That's not the truth about you. That's not the truth about who we really are. So I'm glad to get a new idea about who I really am. Because it teaches that the only problem that we have is an identity problem. There's a line in the Course in Miracles that says, all problems are identity problems. It all boils down to, who do you think you are? What do you think you are? And then he says, then we define our needs based on that idea. You tell me who you think you are, and then you're going to probably, at the same time, going to be showing me what you think you need. So what is it that we need as spiritual beings? Who do we think we are? So let's get started and see what interesting things that the Course in Miracles has to tell us right now. And we're going to do a little bit about theme song as usual. I'm the Divine Repetition Teacher. I'm your remembering coach. And so the Course in Miracles says the way that you accept new ideas is through repetition. And the way that we believe what we believe right now is because we were told that and we gave that to ourselves, and somebody said it over and over and over and over and over again until we accepted it as true. So if you want to accept a new belief, how do you do it? If you want to accept a new truth, how does the Course in Miracles say that you do it? Through repeating it. Where the world would tell you that it's about your understanding, the Course would say it's about your hearing it over and over again until you get to the point you accept it as true. So that means in the beginning, when you hear a new idea and it's opposite to what you believe, it's natural for you to feel some resistance. So it's not unusual that when someone says something to you and it's different from what you believe, that you feel some level of resistance. So if the Course is teaching us just the opposite of what many of us have been taught, then it makes sense that from time to time the Course in Miracles would be met with resistance, because it's the opposite of what I believe. You tell a person that they are precious and they are a treasure, and they've been programmed and conditioned to believe that they don't have value, or they're not worthy, or maybe grew up in a household where they were constantly criticized and condemned, and they have low self-esteem, and you say, you're a priceless treasure, then it's going to be a temptation for them to think that you're deceiving them in some way, or what you're saying isn't true. Why? Merely because it's the opposite of what they have learned to believe. And so the Course teaches that perception is learning, that learning is perception. So whenever someone says they perceive something, what they're really doing is seeing what they learned to see. We are all seeing what we learn to see, how we learn to see it. And the Course asks the question, well, suppose what you have learned is not true. Then your interpretation of everything is not an accurate interpretation, because it's based, if I was taught I was a zebra, right, then if someone was to tell me, no, you're not a zebra, you're a human being, then I would have a lot of resistance to that, because that's opposite to what I've been teaching. But it also explains why I couldn't run as fast as a zebra can. Mm-hmm. So how can you tell if what you've learned is not true? The Course says it's very simple. It's according to how much pain and suffering and unhappiness you're experiencing right now. That if you're seeing things correctly from a place of love and truth, you should be experiencing some harmony. And if your life is full of chaos and unhappiness in some way, the Course would say that's how you can tell that you're learning and what you're telling yourself is not true, right? So just remember, perception is learning, and the Course is teaching us new perceptions, which is a new way to interpret. So since it's a new way to interpret, it has to be also learned. So isn't it true that you can't really learn something that you don't give some level of teaching, some level of attention and study? So to think you're going to learn something new without giving it any level of attention and study, if it's truly new, you're probably setting yourself up for disappointment. So it's okay if you have resistance. It's okay if you don't believe what you hear. As a matter of fact, the Course in Miracles says you need not believe the ideas. And it also says, take me slowly. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. That some of the ideas you may actively resist. Like I've joked in the past, I feel sort of like a flight attendant on an airplane where they give you the instructions every week, and everybody can kind of, they heard it so many times, their mind be like somewhere else. But the truth is, if the plane goes down, you're going to wish you knew where those exits were. Right? So I know I say this over and over again, but I'm absolutely convinced that the reason why some people have challenges with the Course in Miracles is because they don't understand that it's already said it's okay if you don't believe it, it's okay if you don't accept it, it's okay if you don't welcome it. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you straight up, some of these ideas that Earl says from A Course in Miracles, you might resist actively. Some of the ideas you may find hard to believe, like you are not a body. You're not a body. Or to me to tell you you never sinned, and that you're not a sinner, and that you're not guilty. Or for me to say what you really are never dies. And then you go, well, that's quite startling. And well, that's the next line. Some of these ideas might seem to be quite startling. You are not asked, and this is my favorite line, you are not asked to judge the ideas at all. So then people say, well, then how will I know if they're true? Use it. If you use it, you'll see that it works, but you have to use it. And then it says the ideas will show you that the ideas are true. I like to work out of the Course book itself, because my goal, my personal goal as a teacher, the Course in Miracles says a good teacher has two characteristics. A good teacher believes in the ideas that they're teaching, and they believe in the students that they're giving their ideas to. So, and the third thing that it says, I think that every parent needs to realize, is that it says you can't change somebody else's mind. The best you can do as a teacher is to motivate someone to want to change their own mind. So you can't change your mate, but you should be a better motivator. You can't change your children, but you could be a better motivator. And that means that they need to see you attempting or expressing and demonstrating what you're talking about. A good teacher is a demonstrator. So you have to demonstrate it. Again, these are all answers to questions that I hear people asking all the time. How can I have a better relationship? How can I have more peace in my life? How can I get the joy? And do you know that people act like there are no answers to that question? It's already answered. There's a lesson in the Course in Miracles says, let me recognize my problems have been solved. And people go, well, I got a financial problem. What do you mean that problem has already been solved? It's already been solved, and that there's a solution to it that's already there, that if you would take advantage of it, you'd get out of that situation. So the problem's really been solved. You just have to be willing to recognize the problem so it can be solved. And so I'm going to keep repeating. I'm going to keep repeating. I'm going to keep repeating, because I've gotten a lot of comments from people who tell me how grateful that they are that I do take it slow and I do keep repeating it, because it's very easy to experience what we call Course in Miracles amnesia, which is that you hear it, while I'm talking it, you'll hear it, and you'll say, yes, yes, and then you walk out the door and forget 90% of what you heard in detail. So repetition is the key, and so I'm going to do a lot of that. So what is our theme? Well, you're not a victim, doggone it, of the world you see. So take a breath. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, say what, of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Including that job, including that boss. I'm not a victim of my ball. I'm not a victim of my ball. I'm not a victim of events or circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Yo, yeah. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. What? Yes. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Thank God. I want to start today with some gratitude. I want you to know that I'm so grateful to all the viewers that are watching my videos on Facebook and also on YouTube, and also the people that are here. This week I had a nice milestone, which was 1.5 million views. And so that really, 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 really moved my heart and soul, that so many people would see value in what comes through me, but not from me. A minister is a messenger, and I want you to know nothing gives me greater joy than sharing the Course in Miracles, especially with people who want to learn it. And thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank all of you who see value in what I'm doing, because I'm teaching what I need to learn. So we're going to be on lesson 72. I'm going to continue with lesson 72. We're going to be on page 125 in the Course in Miracles workbook. And we are going to start with paragraph 7. And paragraph 7 starts off with, this is the universal belief of the world that you see. Okay, so I teach in a question and answer format. Questions hook the mind, statements put it to sleep. So you have to engage, and questions engage. Saying this is the universal belief of the world you see has a different level of impact than if I say, do you know what's the universal belief of the world you see? That hooks the mind. Do you realize the universal belief of the world you see is much more likely to hook the mind than saying this is the universal belief of the world you see? So what is the universal belief of the world you see? Some people hate the body. Some people try to hurt and humiliate the body. Others love the body. Others glorify the body. Some people exalt the body. And while the body stands at the center of your concept of yourself, you are attacking God's plan. So how do I know I'm attacking the ultimate plan for my happiness? Well, as long as you think you are primarily a physical body and that is your identity, that you are just a human being only, then the Course says at some level you are attacking the plan for your happiness. And then you go, why? Well, because I'm going to put my focus on what the body says and what the body does and how the body acts. And I'm also going to spend a lot of time trying to get people to be different and to be the way I want them to be in order to be happy. So the Course is saying as long as the body stands at the center of your concept of yourself, when it says attacking God's plan, it simply means that you're holding grievances. And because usually every time someone's upset about something, it's always something that the body has said or the body has done. So the Course in Miracles is saying to us, you're holding grievances against God and you're holding grievances against the creation. And so if you're holding a grievance, like people say to me, why is it that I don't hear the voice of the Holy Spirit? Why don't I hear the voice for truth? Well, the Course says, well, because how can you hear the voice for truth and love when you're focused on the voice inside of you that's full of grievances and upset and need everything to change? So such a simple answer, right? But why am I holding the grievance? He says, so that you may not hear the voice for truth and welcome the voice for truth as a friend. So you're telling me that I'm keeping that anger that I'm feeling toward my father because I want to keep the grievance? Yes. That's why you're focusing on everything that keeps you mad, so that you don't hear the voice that's telling you to forgive and be willing to look at it another way. And
Send it to hell.
I know, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. I think there's someone that heard me. That's the name of this lesson. Damn it to hell. It's going to be the title of today's class. No, that's what I'm saying. This book hooked me 43 years ago because it says things in such a simple way, but for some reason, it really hits me. And then the Course says that when you're trying to use your body for the truth, sometimes there's a part of you that will literally try to stop you from saying it. So it's interesting to me how often I can feel fine until I start teaching. And then my throat has come up, or I feel like I need to cough. Or I watch my body literally defend against me saying these thoughts. Wow. It's so funny to watch that happen. So you try to tell me that I'm having the grievance and I need my dad to be different, or I wish he was different. And think about this. My father has made this transition. So if I was sitting around saying to myself, my father needed to be different for me to be happy, I'm screwed. Because now I'm making my happiness based on something that I can't change at all. So every time you're sitting around thinking that your happiness is dependent on somebody else being different, I don't really believe that person really seriously wants to be happy, because they're setting it up that their happiness is dependent on something they have absolutely no control over. So do you really want to have the problem solved if you're really focusing on an answer that will never work? Wow. Right. And any real answer is always going to be an answer that, the Course says you will never solve a problem that you remove yourself from. What? Yeah, you're the problem. The way you're seeing it is the problem. So the minute you take you out of the equation, then you have guaranteed that problem won't get solved. But isn't that what most people do? Not only take themselves out of the equation, they use their mind to come up with all the ways that somebody else needs to be different. I'm trying to figure out, like people that come to me sometimes and they want me to tell them how to change their partner. They're like, okay, he's doing this and she's doing that, and I need you to tell me what would be the best thing I could do to get them to be different. So they're using their mind to come up with everything other than their mind that needs to change. Wow, but it does seem a lot easier if I held you responsible, though. So I can kind of see the payoff in people wanting to do that. It does make a lot of sense if I can just say it's Earl's fault, right? So the Course in Miracles says your chosen Savior takes the Holy Spirit's place instead. So people say, well, who is my chosen Savior? He says, well, your ego. Well, what is my ego? All the things that I believe, my self-concept, the things that I've learned, that's my friend. But God, which is the truth, is my enemy. So some people actually approach the truth like what it's saying is dangerous. Like the truth says you should forgive. So if you believe that to forgive would be giving that person permission to do the same thing to you again, then it would look like to you, truth is your enemy. God is your enemy, right? If you think someone else is doing something to you and I tell you you're doing it to yourself, then it look like the truth I just told you is the enemy because you feel like you really need to defend yourself against something or someone outside yourself. And so when the Course says God is your enemy, that's the same as saying the truth is your enemy, thinking my Creator is my enemy. So what are we going to try to do today? Because I'm all about the practical application of the Course. And he says, well, in paragraph 8, and why do I keep going through the book again? Because a good teacher would be someone who's trying as best they can to motivate you to get into it for yourself. That my ultimate goal is to make myself unnecessary. And like I said in many classes, I've been very successful in making myself unnecessary to a lot of people in my life. Every week, I make myself unnecessary.
You're good at it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Harlan. I appreciate that. So what are we going to do? He says, well, we're going to try today to stop these senseless attacks on salvation. What is the Course in Miracles definition of salvation? One of the definitions of salvation that the Course in Miracles gives is forgiveness. Another one is right-mindedness. So we're gonna because think about it, our salvation is right-mindedness. That's what's going to save us. It's us having a right mind, a correct mind, a loving mind. So instead of attacking what we're hearing, it says, well, why don't we try to welcome it? Why don't we welcome right-mindedness? Why don't we welcome these truths? Because what has been ruinous to your peace of mind? Right now, if you don't have peace of mind and you're in conflict, what is it that's ruining your peace of mind? Your upside-down perception. That's what's ruining your peace of mind. Then people say, well, what is an upside-down perception? Let me give you a simple definition of that. An upside-down perception is me thinking I'm a victim of everything I see. And I'm really responsible for everything I see. So an upside-down perception is just a perception that's the opposite of the truth. And if I have an upside-down perception, which is that you're the one doing it to me and I'm a victim of everything that's happening to me, would that not be ruinous to my peace of mind? Of course it would. It's too simple. So then, now this next sentence is awesome. This next sentence is, it says, you have seen yourself in a body and the truth outside you. Truth is love. Okay, so I see myself as in a body with love outside of me. The truth, why do you think people are so busy what? Searching for love, right? Searching for the truth. I'm looking for that perfect person that's going to show up in my life. Because I'm in this body, my happiness and love is outside of me, in you. So I got to make my bait appealing enough to catch you, the fish. And there's literally a line in the Course where he says that. You see your body as a bait to catch a better fish. Yeah, that's why so many people work so hard to make their bait better. Right? That's why I'm working out. That's why I'm running. That's why I'm getting all kinds of things done to my body. I need better bait. Right? Now, I'm not saying that's true of everyone. There's always exceptions at the level of the world. Some people are really doing that for the good of their health. But I guess if you would be honest, you have to admit, or it could be a combination of both of them. But the key is they're thinking their happiness is in something or someone outside themselves. And I got to make something about my physical more appealing, because that's what I'm located in. Take the Course in Miracles slow. It's profound. So look, notice it says, you have seen yourself in a body, and the truth where? Outside you, locked away from your awareness by the body's limitation. I feel like the truth and love is locked away. I'm supposed to be joined with you. We're supposed to be one with each other. But it looks like I'm inside this body and that I need to try to get to the love outside of myself. So it looks like you are separate from me because of my body's limitations. You know, my body is limiting my ability to join with you. The Course in Miracles says things that are so obvious that it's hard to see. Like the fact that I do see myself as in a body. And sometimes it does look like the truth and the love is outside of me. I also, many times, get upset with what I think someone's body has said or done. When I'm upset, I am telling myself if this were different some kind of way on the outside, I would be happy. And that is the grievance. Then it says, now what are we going to do? It says, well, now we are going to try to see this differently. What are we doing, gang? We're going to try to see this differently. Yes. See what differently? Everything. But especially in this paragraph, our perception differently, seeing ourselves as just in the body differently, seeing the love and truth that is outside of ourselves. We no longer want to see that the same way, and we don't want to see our body as a limitation to who and what we really are. That's what the goal. That's the goal. Okay, so where is the truth? If it's not outside, well, he says, well, the truth is in us. Well, he says, the light of truth is in us, and who placed it there? Our Creator. So the truth is in you. Let me give you some definitions. The truth is in you. The love is in you. The peace is in you. The abundance is in you. The joy is in you. The health is in you. It's in you. I didn't say in your body. I said the truth was in you. Like a lot of times when you say to people, I want you to look within, they think they have to try to look between their stomach and their intestines. Right? Because we think we're the body. So looking within, the tendency would be to focus on the body. And the body is not, you are not within the body. The body is within you. You are not inside the body. The body is inside you. You are bigger than your body. You are energy. You are consciousness. You are, the Course would say, you are mind. You are spirit. You are all that is. You are inside of you. Your body is not where you're located. So you go, well, who is it that's located in the body then? Because it looks like something is in the body. And the Course says, yes, let me tell you. The ego. What? The you that thinks you're separate is what's inside the body. So the you that's looking out through the body's eyes is actually your ego. It's the part of you that thinks you're separate, different, and apart. He defines that as the ego. So he says the ego is the part of the mind that experiences fear, and separation, and anger, and sickness, and lack. He says broken into, I love this line, broken into by periods in which they seem to be gone. Right? I'm upset about something broken into by periods where it looks like things are going pretty good. Now I'm upset about something else broken through by a period in which we go to the movie. Then I'm upset about something else broken into by the period in which we take a trip and a vacation. He says that part of us is called the ego. It's the part of us that thinks it's in the body, sitting here in the chair talking to you. Now, what's happening is I'm allowing my body sitting in the chair to be used by my spirit, which is the part of me that's now telling you how innocent you are, that you're more than a body, that you deserve to be loved, and that you're a powerful being. So the body is neutral. Just two voices want to use it. And for an hour, I let the voice of love and truth use my body. And that's what we do all day. We choose which voice we're going to let come through our body. And there's a part of us that thinks we are the body, which he calls the ego. And the ego is the part of us that thinks we're separate from, can think we're separate from God. And then the Course in Miracles says, well, what I'm going to do is, you use your body for separation. I'm going to use your body for joining. I'm going to use your body for unity. I'm going to use your body for love. See, that's cool. That's cool. So I want the loving part of me to start using my body instead of the part of me that thinks it's guilty, angry, and afraid. Take a breath. I want you to hear this sentence. The next sentence in the Course in Miracles, would you like to hear something that's kind of different? Okay, you ready? You ready? Okay, here it goes. The light of truth is in us, where the light of truth was placed by God. It is the body that is outside us. What? The body is outside you. What? And is not our concern. Now, is that opposite? Think about this. What is it most people are most concerned about? The body. Feeding it, housing it, clothing it, having fun with it. Could you imagine how fewer bills you would have if you didn't have a body? I think the body is the origin of the term high maintenance. Don't you? I think the term high maintenance, I mean, it's all about, you have to get up in the middle of the night to relieve it sometimes, especially at my age. And it's not me, but my body needs to. After a while, you start to realize it's really a communication medium. It's really like your flesh suit. It's really like how you move around in the three-dimensional realm. And so thinking you're your body is the same as a skin diver thinking he's his skin diving outfit. But he takes it off. And we call that death, right? Death is nothing but us taking off the flesh suit. But since we think that person is their skin diver's outfit, we have a funeral for it. Right? And so that's like taking that person's skin diving outfit and putting it in a casket, and then everybody come and stand around and feel sad when they're not looking at the person at all. They're just looking at their outfit. So the Course is saying to you, it's the body that's outside you, just like the skin diver's outfit is outside the skin diver. Be with that for a minute. And what did he say? And is not our concern. I love that line. Now, the truth is the opposite of what the world believes. Okay, so usually in the world, we are very much focused on concern about the body. But did you notice that the truth said is not our concern? So a person that's waking up to who they really are is a person who's not concerned about the body. They are concerned, if they're going to be concerned, they would be concerned about their mind, their consciousness, their awareness, their heart. So the more I wake up and realize it's my thoughts that's creating my perceptions, it would make more sense to me to put my attention on what I think more so than what my body is doing, because my body is neutral. I love it. He says, your body, he said, people get upset and afraid because they feel like they'll more or less lose the desires, the pleasure. He said, the pleasures of the body. And in the Course in Miracles says, your body is not hoping for pleasure. Your body is not hoping for the slice of pie. Your body isn't hoping to go to Paris. You are. So your body doesn't have a hope of pleasure. So stop blaming your body for what you do. Your body isn't having that desire. You are having the desire. And then you're using your body to try to make that desire manifest. Then the Course in Miracles says, and when your body doesn't act out your fantasies, you get mad, and then that's an attack on the body. And then it says that's what makes the body sick and that's what makes the body die, is our constant attacks on the body for not fulfilling the fantasies we've made up for what we should be experiencing. I wonder why I don't have a turn-away crowd of thousands. Because of what the hell I'm saying. I'm amazed anybody watches anything I say. It's so, just like, he's leaving. I've had people come into my class with a garbage bag full of pages from the Course in Miracles book that they tore up. I've had people throw the book over bridges. I have had people burn it because it was such an affront to their programming about what they think the truth is. It's amazing to watch people's reaction to something that says you're innocent and you only deserve love. It's a trip to watch the mind act like you're saying something threatening when you say to a person that you deserve unconditional love and freedom. I want it for myself, but I don't want it for my partner, right? I want that freedom for me, but I don't want it for my friends. So people love the truth when it comes to them receiving the benefit of it. The challenge for many people is to apply it to those around them. That can be a challenge for some people. Everything I'm saying has an exception. I know you out there the same, but not me. I know you out there. You're always out there. Okay, I know the one that it doesn't apply to, and it may not. I'm not saying it does, but there are people that it does. And so I want to be helpful to those people. Like I said, there are two people that come, two people who really want another way of looking at things, and then some people come because they're on the maintenance program, and they want to continue to hear the truth, and they want to make it a part of them. So I call it the maintenance program students and the people who really at that point that they really need to see it a different way. But both of them is great. I'm both. I got some things as a maintenance program, I pretty much accepted it, and then I have some aspects of the truth that can still challenge me, and so I still need to hear it over and over again. So the most important thing you can do if you're going to have a special relationship is to have a special relationship with someone who reminds you of the truth. That's what the Course calls a holy relationship. It has nothing to do with the form of your relationship. It has to do with the content. Okay? So and here's another great sentence. Do you know that to be without a body is to be in our natural state? Yeah. I love that line. That's one of my favorite lines in the entire book, because there's not many books I've ever read out of all I got a metaphysical New Thought black belt. I do. Especially in my 20s. I got into this stuff when I was 23 and I'm 73. And so it's a trip to really and truly think about that statement. To be without a body is to be in our natural state. So what happens when people make the transition called death? It looks like they are now without a body. So really, did my mother die, or did my mother just go to her natural state? Yeah. When my brother made his transition, did he die, or did he just go back to his natural state? So if beyond the body is your natural state, being in a body is your unnatural state. And he says, well, that's why you all struggle and have challenges and have aches and pains, broken into by periods in which they seem to be gone. Because you're not really in your natural state. To be in a limited state is an unnatural state. And to be in the body is, he says, is a limited state simply because the body has limitations. Literally has limitations. That's not too hard to prove. My body can't go through that physical wall. So it has limitations. And he says, well, in a state of limitation is unnatural for us, right? And so, but then the man goes, well, why would I limit myself? Well, I would have to limit myself if I want to experience myself as separate and in a physical form, because physical forms are based on structure and limitation. So the minute I want to be separate, at some level, I'm creating a reality in which I have to experience what appears to be some form of limitation. Then people go, well, how do you know that's true? You obviously know it's true. You know your body can't do anything. I'm not saying something abstract. You know your body can't do anything, but your mind can. We can go anywhere we want to in our mind and our spirit, sitting right here. We could go anywhere in our imagination. I can do anything I want to any of you in my imagination and in my mind. And you couldn't stop me. You can't stop me from thinking anything I want to think about you. It's the mind that's not limited. The body is full of limits. So it becomes, what do you want to use your body for? Well, first I need to do what? If I want to stop holding a grievance against you, if I realize that you are more than your body and all of my grievances are around something that your body has said or done, then if I can get back to who you really are, I will get past the grievance. First of all, I don't have to hold on to the grievance simply because you're not the one that's making me feel what I feel. If I'm feeling upset with you, it's because I'm making myself feel angry. So you really aren't doing anything to me. Let me give you another startling statement. Like the Course, some people think, I know it's going to upset some people, so I'm going to tell you what you do if I say something that upsets you. Don't tell me about it. Okay. That's okay. I don't need to know. Okay. You know. But the truth is, the Course says all attack is physical. That's the only way you can really be attacked, if you want to believe in the idea of attack. It says it's physical. So, and I'll give you an example. And you might disagree, but I already said some of it you might disagree with, right? That was the original premise, right? Okay. If you call me out of my name, if you call me the N-word, that does not have to have any effect on me whatsoever unless I give it meaning to me. It doesn't have to hurt my feelings. It doesn't have to make me mad unless I give what you say the power to upset me. Agreed? Yeah. Okay. That's true about everything. And there are no exceptions to that. You know, so the truth is, unless now if you come up to me and you hit me physically, that's a whole different issue, right? The attack is physical, but anything other than a physical attack, you have the ability to choose how much that's going to affect you. So you don't have to see, I don't have to see you calling me out of my name as something that upsets me, unless I could see it as, that's your call for love. That's your call for healing. That's you needing another way to look at things. That's you losing sight of the fact that we're one with each other. There are a number of ways I could look at what you just said to me that I wouldn't have to get upset about it. But if you hit me, hit my physical body, that has a whole nother level. So attack is physical. It's not mental and emotional. Even though it's, and I admit it, in our society, in our culture, it's very common to believe in emotional abuse. I understand that. I didn't grow up on another planet. I understand that. But the truth is, we are always only reacting to the interpretations that we're giving things. That's the key to happiness. That's why you hear me emphasize it so much. It's because the key to happiness is knowing that your happiness comes from you, that your peace comes from you, from the meanings you're giving everything. So if you ever want to make sure you'll always be happy, all you have to do is use interpretations and meanings of your experience that only give you peace. Which the Course in Miracles is one way of receiving those new interpretations. It's not the only way. It's just one way that you could receive new interpretations and meanings of your experience, knowing that your feelings are going to come from the meanings you choose. That's why the Course says the key to salvation and the key to healing, it says, is to tell yourself, I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience. And I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. The Course calls that the keys to salvation, the keys to right-mindedness. So if people go, what do you mean? I'm responsible for what happened to my kid when they broke their leg? No, I am responsible for what I see means. I am responsible for whether I see love or fear. I'm responsible for how I'm seeing. I choose the feelings I choose. I'm responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings. I'm choosing whether I go for love or whether I go for fear. I decide upon the goal I will achieve, and there's not but two goals, love or some form of fear. Everything that happens to me, I ask for, yeah, because I have a choice of how I'm going to see things, and I'm either choosing to see it through the eyes of peace and love, or I'm choosing to see it through the eyes of conflict and fear. So yeah, I'm getting what I'm asking for, because there is another way I could look at any situation that I'm going through right now. I'm refusing to look at it in the way that would give me the most joy and peace. So yeah, I'm asking for something other than joy and peace, because I'm choosing something other than joy or peace. So that's when you realize the Course in Miracles is always talking about the content of your experience. Whether you're experiencing peace or joy or fear or depression, it's talking about the content of your experience, and that's coming from your perception. That's coming from the way you see things. And don't forget, you see things the way you see things because you learned to see things that way. So to be without a body is to be in your natural state and to recognize the light of truth in us. So what does it mean when it says, I want you to see the light? I want you to see the truth in you. Well, the Course says that just means you're willing to recognize yourself as you really are. You are light. That's what you are. We are all light beings. We are all loving beings. We are all spirit. So to recognize the light in me is me really just recognizing me for what I really am, which is love, lovable, and loving. So what is the Course doing? What he says, well, what I'm doing is I'm introducing new ideas to you. I'm helping you remember the truth about you, because everything is a reflection of thought and ideas. So if I can get you to introduce new ideas into your mind, and then to share those ideas and to focus on those ideas, and you know ideas create your experience, then you are literally receiving ideas that can transform your perception and your whole perception and experience of your life. If I look at myself as a light being, as a love being, and that's who I am, and that's my idea of me, well, that idea of me is going to physically manifest in my physical reality, and I'll start to see the light and the love in you. Ignore the ego. Ignore the part of the person that thinks they're separate from you, that's judging you, that wants to attack, that's saying unloving things. As much as possible, just don't even engage that part. That's the way you deal with the ego. You just don't. Especially when you've been working on becoming a more peaceful person. If you've been working on really becoming a peaceful, loving person, a person who's totally in their ego, who only judges and attacks, and they do it all day, they will mop the floor with you. They are so much better at attacking than you are now. Yeah. You follow what I'm saying? I've been working on being a really loving person. So it's not, I don't handle arguments as well as I did when I was all about also proving I was an ego too. But those people out there that all day long seeing the world as a threat, and they've been battling, they are all ready for the battle of ego to ego. And they'll get you every time. They're good at it. You know, because you've been working on being peaceful. So you're better at being peaceful than they are, but they're definitely better at arguing and attacking than you are. Remember that the next time you're all ready to confront an ego, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You know, what you do in each situation is you ask. The Course would say you would ask your inner self what you should do, and then follow your inner guidance based on the desire for peace in that situation. So it isn't like a cut and dry answer. It's more about, I put it this way, the cut and dry answer from a Course perspective is to go within and ask your higher self, your loving self. For me, I go, like most people say, what would Jesus do? for me, I go, well, what would the Course tell me to do if I'm in a situation like that? Well, not defend myself, see it as a call for love, ask Spirit. Because we don't realize you can ask for divine intervention in a situation. So we forget that we're not alone. You could literally ask the Holy Spirit to handle that situation and watch a miraculous healing happen in that very situation. I had a situation one time where I was driving down the street and these young guys in another car thought I said something to them that I didn't say. And so it was a perfect formula for a road rage incident. And when I stopped my car at the light, one of them jumped out of the car, and I could tell he was coming over to attack me. And so when he got up to the car, I said, because I had asked the Holy Spirit what to do, I said, bless you. Right. That's all I said. And this is what he did. He turned around and went back to his car and drove off. See, people don't believe that peace is more powerful than war. The Course says we are programmed to think peace is weak and anger and attack is strong. And so so the fact that I was willing to pause a minute, ask what to say what I was told to say, even though it seemed illogical, worked. Because the lesson is, will I learn more and more to turn to God rather than my own ego for guidance? That was the lesson, was would I pause and try to use what I've learned in that situation. So and then people can say, well, suppose they had a really attack, then at some level I was asking for that. There was some reason that I thought I needed to go through that experience would be the correct way to look at it, because at no point would I be a victim. So even if something else had happened, I still wouldn't have been a victim of him. At some level, that still would have been what my consciousness ordered up, and so therefore I could ask Spirit to give me another way to look at that. But the number one priority, if at all possible, and I'll say it that way again, if at all possible, would be for me not to physically attack. If at all possible. And in the end, you're not going to ever know how you're going to behave in those situations until they happen. So if I had to took a sledgehammer out and hit him upside the head, that would have been what I needed to ask the Holy Spirit to give me another way of looking at it. You see what I'm saying? No matter how I would have reacted, then if I had met him violence to violence, that still would be a situation where both of us need to learn another way to look at it, ask for the correct perception of it. The answer, I look at the Course says, the answer always remains the same regardless of the situation and circumstance that you're dealing with. The answer doesn't change. The situations will appear to change, but the way you deal with it is the same. And ultimately, the goal is to learn how to give it to Holy Spirit, higher power. That's the ultimate goal, is learn how to turn everything over and to surrender everything. That's the ultimate thing that the Course is teaching. So in this last sentence, now this is really deep. You'd be surprised how many people come in and write me and say that it seems like the hour goes by in 5 minutes. And then some people feel like it was 500 years and they reincarnated 5 times in the last hour. It just depends on your attitude to what I'm saying. Some people, it's a long, but for me, I'm just getting warmed up and it's time to stop. You know, because I've learned from doing it so many years that it takes an average of an hour just to get your ego out of the way enough to hear what I'm saying. That's why I'll do workshops from time to time, because they're magical and powerful because we get past that initial hour. And once we get past that initial hour and the ego is like, I'm through with y'all, then we go for it. So really when I'm winding up, is really, for many people, it's just when they're most open to be able to hear what I'm saying. And for some people, it's enough. I call the Course in Miracles the cheesecake of truth. You know, you just don't, you usually don't take down a whole cheesecake. You nibble on it. That's what you do the Course. You nibble on it. You don't treat it like a novel. You take your time, right? To see ourselves as separate from the body is to attack, is to end the attack on God's plan for your happiness. And to accept God's plan for your happiness, which is what? Which is what? To see yourself as separate from the body. Just said it. To see yourself as, what does that mean? See yourself as different from the body, as separate from the body, is not, I repeat, is not the Course in Miracles putting down the body. It is not the Course in Miracles criticizing the body. Sometimes body workers will misperceive that the Course in Miracles is somehow anti-body, and it's just saying if you use the body for what it was meant to be used for, then the body will be healthy. And the body was meant to be used for communication, for joining, for love, for healing, for joy, for innocence. So using the body correctly is using the body to reinforce love in your life, joy in your life, healing. So the Course isn't putting the body down. It's just saying it ain't you. Me telling you that you are not your car is not me condemning automobiles. You got it? Me telling you you're not your body is not me condemning the body. As a matter of fact, he says the body will be healthier if you don't identify with it. Because then you're no longer projecting all your guilt and fears on it. And he says, and this is another one hard to believe, he says eventually you get to the point you don't need food nor drink.
That'd be nice.
Again, amazing just from the financial perspective what enlightenment can do for you. And then people go, well, that sounds crazy. I told you some of the things I said was going to sound crazy. But that didn't mean it's not true. Just because you don't agree with something doesn't mean it's not true. He's just telling us where we're going to end up, which is begin to believe that your body and you are separate. Then people say, well, how do I do that? That sounds hard. It's not. Let me tell you how. I'm going to tell you how you do it according to the Course. Ready? He said, all you have to do is practice seeing the body as sinless, as guiltless. That's how you do it. Because all of your guilt is somehow connected to something the body did in the past, or the body said in the past. So if you were to see and want to focus on seeing the innocence in the people around you, it says it would allow you to transcend your perception of the body as yourself. Just seeing me as innocent. See you as innocent. My ego said, you will not say another word, black man. There will not be another word of truth that will come out of your mouth. So last sentence is, wherever God's plan is accepted, what do you mean? If you were to accept anything that I've said today, that to be without a body is your natural state, to want to see people as innocent, to let go of the idea if this were different, I'd be saved, then you would see it's already been accomplished because it's just a change of perception. There's nothing I've said to you today that you couldn't start practicing today. And I love how the Course in Miracles says, an answer that comes from God is going to be something you can do now. And it's going to be something you're willing to do, and it won't seem like it's a sacrifice to do it. And so that's what I always ask myself when I'm trying to get clear about my guidance. Earl, are you feeling a sense of sacrifice? Or is this something you're not willing to do? And most of all, are you telling yourself that you need to do something that you couldn't do right now? And so when you give yourself those little practical tests, you can tell whether you're following your guidance or whether you're following God's guidance. When your ego gives you guidance, how can you tell? One of the ways you can tell when your false voice is giving you guidance, and again, this might be startling and you might not agree with it, that's okay. But the Course says the way you can tell when it's the wrong voice, it's going to always be something that involves the past or the future. It's going to be something that you got to do in the future, or you're too focused on the past. But something that Spirit tells you to do would be something that's telling you to do where you have the most power. And where is the most power? Now. So the more you come up with plans that after I get this and after I get that and when I get that and when I get this over here and I get this 10 years of training, I'm not saying those things don't have their validity. I'm saying that they don't have anything to do with you being happy right now. That's all I'm saying, is that your happiness comes from the way you're interpreting and looking at things right now.
Amen.
So don't tell yourself your happiness comes after you get that degree, even though getting that degree might be a cool thing for you to do. That your happiness comes when you get that next mate or that partner. That's great. You could have that partner. You could give yourself a great joy in that, but don't tell yourself for a second He says that whenever you tell yourself it takes time for you to have something, like here you are now. Okay, look at my hand over here. Here you are now, and this is your goal over here. He says, well, this in-between period between my hand, he says, that's when you decided to suffer. Because at that point, you're going to have happiness over here, and you're unhappy. Then you got this big old gap before you can have happiness. So he says, whenever you place your happiness in the future, you're just creating a period for you to suffer in before you have your happiness. Woo! Woo! Wow. I love this material. So I'm going to stop here. Again, I'm going to stop here because this is one of my most powerful sections in this book. And I want us to be able to let it in, digest it a little bit. I'm going to do a 1 minute or so recap in just a second. Right? But I'm a full-time teacher of the course, and I do it on a love offering basis or on a donation basis so that anybody, regardless of their financial situation, can take advantage of what I teach. And so I want to give you an opportunity to share if you feel led to do that. You can use Venmo, Zelle, the Cash App, or PayPal. All you need is my email address, Earl Purdy at earlpurdy.com. See you later, man. Earl Purdy at earlpurdy.com. And I'm also available for one-on-one sessions. One-on-one sessions, these can be counseling sessions, these can be mentoring and coaching sessions. And I can show you, there's no problem you can bring to me that I cannot go to the part of the Course in Miracles with you that could be applied to the situation or circumstance that you're going through. I learned it for you, even as you're learning it for yourself. Do you know the Course in Miracles teaches that the purpose of a relationship is to save time? So I can save you time. There's no need to reinvent the wheel, and I can support you through your study of the Course in Miracles. So I'm available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions. Go to my website, and you can get all the details, and you can self-book a session. And for those of you who are open and receptive to spirit communicating in other ways also, I'm available as a soul purpose astrologer and numerologist. There are many ways that spirit speaks to us. The Course in Miracles is not the only way to the truth. It's the way for some people to receive it. And I want you to emphasize that again. The Course in Miracles is not for everyone. It's not everyone's path. But I want to be especially supportive and helpful to those who have chosen that they'd like to get more aware of it and perhaps be their path. Nothing gives me greater joy. My classes are on YouTube as well as on Facebook. So 1 p.m. on Sundays, Mountain Time, on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. I do Facebook Live, Course in Miracles, and then on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we do what I call hardcore Course in Miracles. You're invited to do that. And don't forget, repetition. So watch this, or listen to this class at least 4 times. 4 is the number of foundation. 4 is the number of setting the foundation for anything that you're trying to do. So repetition at least 4 times is what you want to do. So here we go. Take a breath. You know you had upside down perception. Your upside down perception has been ruinous to your peace of mind, ruinous to your peace of mind, been kicking your behind. The truth is, you've been seeing the truth and the good as being outside of you, but the truth and good is inside you. The truth and good is inside you. The light is in you. Now you are ready to see things differently. Are you ready to see things differently? To know the light of truth has been placed in you, by God. The body is outside you. Do you know your body is outside you? Your body is outside you and not your concern. To be without a body is to be in your natural state. To be without a body is our natural state. To be without a body is our natural state. We are spirit. We are spirit, and the body is a means of communicating. Your body is a means of joining minds and heart. The body is your communication device, but to be without a body is your natural state. So if you have loved ones that you're grieving, that you're missing, just know they are in their natural state. And they are probably grieving you. Because they're so glad to be out of this insanity. They don't know what to do. But you are the light. Forgiveness is your function as the light of the world. Learning how to see things correctly is your function as the light of the world. So to see yourself as separate from the body, to see yourself as having a body but not your body, recognizing you are light. You are the light. You are the light of the world. You are the love of the world. Wherever you accept this, you have accomplished it. If you were to accept these new ideas and to remember today that if you keep telling yourself if someone else or something were different, you would be happy, that's you attacking the plan for your happiness. Don't you know you can't control how someone else behaves or thinks or does? So when you make your happiness dependent on something or someone outside of you being different, you're using the opposite of the right plan, the opposite of the loving plan. So remember, attack is physical. Attack is physical. And you give everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. Mighty companions, so appreciate you. So appreciate you helping me to remember with you. Thank you so much for your incredible comments that I've been receiving. You are a total and complete blessing. Now I'm going to turn this body back over to Earl, bless his heart. Have mercy on him, y'all. He's just like you, trying to remember the truth too. Just like you, trying to remember the truth too. I am just like you, trying to remember, attempting, doing the truth too. Mighty companions, may the Course be with you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. So, Earl Purdy at earlpurdy.com. That's who you would, that's what you would use for Zelle or PayPal or any of those services. Earl Purdy at earlpurdy.com. Thank you so much. Love you. Thank you.